We don't realize how our hatred can affect our health. You see, hatred creates stress. We all know that stress can create physical problems. That appear to be, and sometimes stress can actually cause you to have genuine, not just psychological, physical problems.
What was it like to be a black pastor? What difficulties did you experience?
I've been in the ministry for over 60 years, close to 70 years. I have pastored for over 60 years. And there have been many phases in that pastoring. In the beginning, the pastor was considered to be almost royalty in the community. And basically, except for a few congregations, the people worked with the pastor. It was really a much easier task, if you want to call it a task. But as the years have grown, I've discovered that the ministry is more difficult. People have much more things to do. They have many what I call minor gods, things in their lives that control their lives. That's in such a way that the church is only the church to a few as opposed to the masses. So in answer to your question, I say that if you feel called to be a pastor, and not just a minister, there's a difference. If you feel called to be a pastor, then you are able to handle the ups and downs, and your success is dependent upon how your church grows and how many lives are affected or improved or enhanced through your effort in ministry. And I would say maybe even through your example. So in answer to your question, is I don't regret being in the ministry this long. And I only retired because my church has a rule of 75. If you turn 75, they don't want you anymore. So they make you retire. So I tell folks I've been fired after the number of years I've been in the ministry. But that's just the way it works.
Trust in the Lord, and He will strengthen thy heart.
What inspired you to become a preacher?
I think I was almost born into becoming a minister. From an early age, people used to mock me as a minister or a preacher. I'm not quite sure why. I would deny it. I did not want to be a minister, a pastor, or minister. I did not want to be in that type of work. I thought more of medicine, engineering, and other things. But from the age of 9, when I used to go out and pray for senior citizens up and down the street where my Aunt Martha lived in Turner Station, Dundalk, Maryland. They would act like something was touching them. The people would give the positive impact and invite me and tell others about this young man who will pray for you. And even at that time, when I was in high school, I did not like the concept, but eventually I found that that's where God was sending me. It's a thing that you don't really control. I saw no big gain in it, except that's where God was sending me. I worked a few places, and then after college, I found myself being fully involved in the ministry. Before I got into the ministry, I worked in fact, I started working at 7, just being a runner for a small restaurant. And then I worked in a barber shop. Then I worked as the front of a candy store that the person who owns it had something in the back going on, which I don't know. But I don't think it was legal. And at the age of 10, it didn't bother me. Then later at that age, I went to Baltimore to work in my aunt's grocery store, where I worked from 8 to 7, with maybe an hour break in between. And from that, I went to Lincoln, and it was sort of solid. In fact, at Lincoln, God and I had a major conversation, because I was concerned that I was almost agnostic at that time. And as I researched and prayed and studied, things happened in my life, especially right in that dormitory realm, that made me all of a sudden be completely committed to the Word of God and to serving God. And I've been doing that since the 60s. That's when I started pastoring. And if you want to know more about my pastoring, I started Danville, Virginia, during the Freedom March. I was arrested with others. I was charged with conspiring to incite the colored population to insurrection against white population. It's a rule they put on the book because people were demonstrating in the 60s, early 60s, against discrimination. And Danville was the last stronghold of the Confederacy.